it just did this. I mean, you're talking about there was a $50,000 correction in 60 days, wholesale, never mind retail. Obviously, throughout 2020 and 21, we had some weird anomalies happen in the automotive market from a pricing perspective. The big thing was that these big luxury SUVs, a status symbol SUV, whether it be the Lamborghini Urus, full-size Range Rover, the G-Wagons, G550, G63, didn't matter. We saw this precipitous climb in pricing, starting with the Urus. A $265,000 window sticker Urus was now, 2021 was now, $329 on the retail market, which is insane. And the dealers are paying over $300,000 for them, which everyone's gonna look at each other and be like, why are we paying $30,000, $40,000 over for a Audi Q8? Like, what are we doing here? But people were buying them because there was lots of money in the marketplace. There's lots of cheap money in the marketplace, and people wanted to have these status symbol SUVs. The one that I think was the craziest one was the G-Wagon, the G550, but namely the G63. There was a point in late 2021 that a $165,000 G63 with 1,000 miles on it was selling at the auction for $265,000. $100,000 over sticker, wholesale. Who was paying $300,000 for a military vehicle right now? Granted, in 2019, they updated the chassis, the body, so on and so forth, and it is a nicer vehicle. I mean, I would drive them sometimes as a demo just because they're good in the snow or I need the space for my family. But I never quite understood how that happened. They boomed a bit into from 165 to 225, 230 throughout COVID. Then in early 2021, Mercedes came out and said, we're done building any of our V8s. So anything that has a 63 motor, the 4-liter V8 twin turbo, we're done building them. We don't have enough parts to service the cars that are in operation. So we're not going to continue building them because we don't want things to break. So we're done. Overnight, you saw this just happen. Now, some of us savvy dealers went out and purchased 5, 8, 10 G-Wagons off of OVE, which is a Mannheim dealer-to-dealer auction site where you can just press a button, buy it now, and you bought the car. So some of us did that and then turned around a month later and made $20,000, $30,000 selling it to the next dealer because now that's what it was worth wholesale because, you can't get these things, so they must be worth. Now the market is flooded with these things. I mean, I don't think anyone that bought a 2021 G-Wagon kept it. They drove it for a few hundred miles, showed their friends, went to dinner, parked it in front of the valet, took a picture and sold it and made 50, 60, 70, 80 grand, then went and bought something else. In early 2022, maybe late January, early February, you started hearing rumblings that Mercedes is going to make them again in 2022. So at that time, I think at our dealerships, we maybe had 6. There was a time where at all our dealerships, we had 30. But we had kind of started to say, this isn't going to last forever unless we can really get a deal on it and buy it, at 30, 40 grand over sticker. We're done paying the $70,000, $80,000 over sticker. There's actually a dealer in Illinois that currently has 75 of them. And we remember seeing these guys bidding 260, 265, 270 as late as into February with these cars. So these guys have had these cars for 6 months and they're wrong because the market is corrected. That same car at the auction is no longer 260, 265. It's 205, 210. So some of these guys are in these cars $60,000, $70,000 wrong times 50, 60, 70 cars. So it just goes to show you that there's speculation in the marketplace that we call it dealer hot potato, where this dealer thinks they're going to make money on it, but then, this dealer thinks it's worth more. And you kind of go back and forth and it's wholesale, wholesale, wholesale. If we had 50 G-Wagons throughout this time, 47 of them were sold to another dealer. 3 of them maybe were sold retail, and maybe because it was a really special color or a special options package that someone had to have, or they were trading out of a Urus or a Range Rover and they were making all of this money, so it kind of made sense for them to overpay for one because they were getting all the money for the other. But the correction in the G-Wagon marketplace happened twofold. Mercedes made an announcement in late February saying that they were going to make a limited number of 2022 G63s. And then when Russia's invasion of Ukraine in March and gas prices went through the roof, it just did this. I mean, you're talking about there was a $50,000 correction in 60 days, wholesale, never mind retail. So if you had a bunch of these things as a dealer, you were getting hurt really bad. And if you paid top of the market money for these as a consumer, you're way underwater in this. The good news is that most of the banks were pretty smart and were only doing like 120% over window sticker. So if you wanted to finance, a $160,000 one, you probably were only getting financed for about 200 grand. So you had to come up with a 50, 60 yourself. But there are people that are just completely are losing and have lost a ton of money on these things just to say they had the, it girl car of the moment in the G63. I'm sure it was great for Instagram, but not exactly great for people's wallets. When you start talking about all these different banks, and I know you have Premier Financial Services on the show every once in a while. We've worked with them at multiple of our dealerships. A lot of our clients are their clients, and it's a great relationship. Their program is awesome. But when it came to G-Wagons and Uruses and big Range Rovers, they were not even willing to take the loan. They weren't willing to take it. And we all kind of like, well, how come you're not doing it? It makes sense right now. They're like, yeah, but long term, it's really not there. So they weren't willing to even do the 120, 125% like the Bank of Americas and the TD Banks of the world, were willing to do of window sticker. They basically were like, we'll do window sticker and that's it. But we're paying $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over window sticker for these cars. So it didn't make any sense. So most of the business in 2021 that we did with Premier Financial Services were Ferrari, Lamborghini cars, not Uruses, Porsche, so on and so forth, because there's precedent there. 911 still are kind of like the retained value king, and some of the Ferraris, of course, the 812s and so on and so forth. And that's really where we used Premier Financial a lot. But they were smart. Some of these banks are probably going to start seeing major repossessions because these cars have had major corrections. And like I said, we're just lucky to have had the foresight to get out when we did. Thinking about that dealer that had, as of a week or so ago, 65, 70 of them in stock. If you think about that for a second, they've had most of those cars for 6+ months. Maybe they're lucky and their owner has $3, $4, $5 million in cash that they own these cars for and doesn't mind losing the $3, $4, $5 million in what they're going to lose here. But they're a major financial mistake where most dealerships, Mercedes-Benz dealerships, are not net profiting $3, $4, $5 million a year. Like that's just not happening. So to go out and lose $3, $4, $5 million on this mistake that they over speculated and they wanted to control the market, they are in a world of hurt.
When you get a ticket, no matter where it happens, it's more important than ever to fight every one. And the perfect partner in that fight is the Ticket Clinic. When you get a ticket, you're facing costly insurance premium increases, points on your license, fines, risk of suspension, jail time, and they can help you avoid all of that. They've got offices in Florida and in California, but they can help you fight a ticket through their network of attorneys no matter where in the United States you get one. You can text a picture of your ticket to 305-305, or you can check them out now at the link in the description below. So thank them for their support of VINwiki, of CarTrek, and fight your ticket with the Ticket Clinic.